In the quiet countryside of Georgia, where wide fields stretched endlessly and the golden sun kissed the earth each morning, lived Amara Johnson, a 16-year-old black farm girl. She spent most of her days tending to her family's farm, feeding the chickens, watering crops, and helping her father mend fences. To the outside world, Amara looked like just another hard-working farm girl with calloused hands, dusty boots, and a quiet demeanor, but what no one knew was that Amara carried a secret. Since the age of 8, her late grandfather, an ex-military man who had also trained in multiple martial arts during his travels overseas, had been teaching her self-defense. Every morning before the rooster crowed, Amara trained. She practiced punches, kicks, grappling, and discipline until her body moved with precision and deadly strength. By the time she was 15, she could break wooden boards with her bare hands and disarm grown men twice her size. Still, Amara kept this part of her life hidden. In school, she stayed quiet, sat in the back, and avoided trouble. But some people mistake silence for weakness. At her small-town high school, a group of local bullies, led by Trevor, the arrogant son of a wealthy landowner, decided that Amara was an easy target. They mocked her for being a farm girl, ridiculed her old clothes, and even called her names because of her skin color. Every insult stung, but Amara refused to react. She remembered her grandfather's words, "Power isn't in showing off. Power is in knowing when to use it." One afternoon, things went too far. After school, Trevor and his friends cornered Amara behind the gym. They shoved her books to the ground, kicked her bag, and laughed as they blocked her path. "Hey, farm girl," Trevor sneered. "What's it like living in the dirt? Maybe you should stick to feeding pigs instead of trying to act like you belong here." Amara calmly bent down to pick up her books. But when Trevor grabbed her arm roughly and wouldn't let go, something inside her snapped. "Let me go," she said firmly. Trevor smirked. "Or what? What are you gonna do?" The other boys laughed, but within seconds, their laughter turned into stunned silence. Amara moved with lightning speed. She twisted her arm free using a joint lock, sending Trevor stumbling back in pain. Before he could react, she delivered a sharp, controlled kick to his chest, knocking him onto the ground. Another boy rushed toward her, but she sidestepped effortlessly, sweeping his legs out from under him. The others tried to gang up on her, but Amara's training took over. Every punch they threw was blocked, every grab countered. Within moments, the bullies who once towered over her were sprawled on the ground, groaning in disbelief. Amara stood tall, her eyes fierce yet calm. She hadn't gone too far. She made sure to only disable them, not seriously harm them. That was part of her discipline. Never use more force than necessary. Trevor, humiliated and holding his bruised arm, glared up at her. "What are you?" he stammered. Amara looked down at him, her voice steady and strong. "I'm a farm girl," she said. "And I know how to fight back." Word of what happened spread quickly through the school. The bullies never bothered Amara again. In fact, most of them avoided her altogether, realizing she wasn't someone to underestimate. For the first time, Amara walked the hallways not with fear, but with quiet confidence. That evening, as she stood on her family's porch, watching the sunset over the fields, she thought of her grandfather. She whispered softly, "I remembered what you taught me. And I used it well." Amara was still the same hard-working farm girl, but now everyone understood the truth. Beneath her humble exterior was a deadly martial artist with unshakable courage. Sparkles, would you like me to write this story in YouTube short story narration style, with suspenseful, punchy lines and dramatic pacing, so you can use it directly for videos? Perfect. Okay, and let's continue the next part of the story, as if it's the sequel to Bullies target black farm girl, unaware she is a deadly martial artist. After the fight behind the gym, Amara thought the bullying was over. For weeks, the halls of her small-town school were quiet. No one shoved her, mocked her, or blocked her path. But peace doesn't last forever, especially when pride is wounded. Trevor, humiliated by being beaten by a farm girl, wasn't willing to let it go. His father, a powerful landowner who believed in dominance and control, filled his head with dangerous ideas. Never let anyone embarrass you. Crush them, or you'll never be respected. So Trevor decided to take revenge in a bigger way. One Friday night, the school hosted a community event at the town fairgrounds. Families gathered, rides spun under flashing lights, and music filled the air. Amara was there with her younger brother, Malik, just enjoying the evening. She thought the past was behind her, but Trevor had other plans. With his group of friends, and now some older boys from a neighboring town, he cornered Amara once again. This time, it wasn't in the shadows. This time, it was in front of a crowd. Well, farm girl, Trevor sneered, his voice louder than the carnival music. Think you're tough? Let's see how tough you are when the whole town is watching. The crowd began to circle, whispering. Some kids pulled out their phones, recording. Malik grabbed Amara's hand nervously. Don't fight them, Amara, please. Amara squeezed his hand and whispered back, don't worry. Just stay behind me. Trevor lunged first, swinging wildly. Amara dodged smoothly, her movements calm and controlled, almost like a dance. The crowd gasped as she disarmed him with a swift counter, flipping him onto the ground in one motion, but this time, the others didn't scatter. Two older boys rushed her at once. Amara dropped low, swept one off balance, then spun and struck the other in the chest with just enough force to knock the wind out of him. Gasps echoed through the fairgrounds. This wasn't just a fight anymore, it was a showcase. People were realizing the quiet farm girl wasn't just defending herself, she was fighting like a trained warrior. Trevor got back up, his face red with rage. He grabbed a metal pipe from the ground, swinging it recklessly. The crowd screamed. Malik shouted, Amara. But Amara didn't flinch. As the pipe came toward her, she sidestepped, grabbed Trevor's wrist, and twisted. The pipe clattered to the dirt. With one final movement, she pinned him to the ground, her knee pressed lightly against his chest. The crowd went silent. All eyes were on Amara. She looked down at Trevor, angry, embarrassed, defeated, and spoke calmly, her voice carrying through the still night air. Strength isn't about hurting people. It's about protecting them. Remember that. Slowly, she stood and helped him to his feet, showing mercy. Trevor couldn't even look her in the eye. The boys who once followed him backed away in shame. And for the first time, Amara wasn't just a farm girl people whispered about. She was someone they respected and feared, but deep down, Amara knew this wasn't the end. The more people found out about her skills, the more challenges would come. And somewhere in her heart, she felt it, this was only the beginning of a much bigger fight.